Welcome and happy Hanukkah from Temple Beth Torah's sanctuary and from so many of your homes. We are going to spotlight a couple families. We got a chance to reach the Wellens beforehand, and
I love the matching outfits. Like, I love the matching outfits. Oh my God, I love it. John Wiesenberg, take note.
And where are the Millums? Millums, if you could.
Millmans.
Millmans. They're both on. I wanna spotlight a few other people. There we go. Brett, I'm gonna spotlight you guys. And we might pick a few more. If you wanna go light the candles. And remember, for the first night, we sing all three blessings. And actually, I'm going to do my teaching too. We sing all three blessings, and we sing the first blessing, and then you start lighting the candles. So my teaching for tonight is that Hanukkah is all about bringing light to the world. And it's not just about lighting the menorah, lighting the candle. It's thinking about what other lights can we light? What other ways can we bring light to the world? Where does the world need the special light that we can bring? And how can we all work together to make this world a brighter place for so many people? And there's so many people who need us to help bring light to them. So, Cheryl and David, you're on screen and you look fabulous too. And Henkels and Wellens and Millmans, this is just great. Oh, I think you look matching as well. And maybe we'll throw 3 more people on. And we're gonna sing the blessing before, the very first blessing for Hanukkah all together. And it's so exciting to be together. So unmute Cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher I just messed up the Hanukkah blessing. Sorry, guys. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Chanukah.
And now we're going to light our first candle. And we sing the second blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim la'avoteinu bayamim ha'im b'zman hazeh.
Amen. And we are so happy to be together on this first night of Hanukkah. We need a shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
Amen. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah Sameach. And Cantor, do you have a song for us tonight?
Sure. I thought I would sing something that is very traditional for this time of year. Hanukkah, Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather around the table, give you a treat. Sevivon to play with and like us to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed the sweet light to remind us of days long ago.
Thank you. That's beautiful. And one of my favorites. So I forgot to say something I wanted to say about spreading light. And that is, that Temple Beth Torah is really excited to partner with our friends at City of Oasis this year. And a lot of them live in the Rockaways, and a lot of them are not well off. The church is a poor church. It has trouble raising money. A lot of the members of the church could really use a lift. So Octavia, who's the assistant pastor there, and one of her friends, and Cantor, you can jump in if I'm not getting this right, is started a catering business, Christmas dinner for families in need. And Cantor's going to go help them go food shopping because, like, she realized that they don't have a car. So it's really hard. You got to get an Uber and put the groceries in, or you have to take the bus. Gosh, that's really difficult. So we're going to make their lives a little bit easier by using the back of her truck and helping get the food and pay for some of the food. If you would like to sponsor a meal, it's $18 a meal. And of course, you can sponsor more than one, and you can do it through the website, or you can do it just by calling the office tomorrow. There's instructions on all the emails that went out. So we're so excited about this mitzvah because we're helping our friends who've come to the temple, who've sung for us, who've been part of our lives for about 5 years now. And it's a great way to bring more light into the world. So that's our lighting. And we hope you'll stay for our story, but each night we'll do something about that long, and you can come back each night. Tomorrow night's at 6:30 because it's Shabbat and it's going to be part of services. And on Saturday night, 6:45, followed by a Hanukkah concert with Cantor, Appelbaum, and Peter and Jody, and we're so excited. Sunday night, I'll do a short meditation. Saturday morning is a special Torah study. Monday at 5:30 is a nursery school bingo. And at 6:45 is candlelighting. And share your favorite tchotchke. Now, we already saw today, a lot of people have some pretty cool Hanukkah stuff in their house. So you're going to, afterwards, you'll stay on and we'll go to gallery view and have people share and tell us or show us what they have set up in their home, since we can't invite our friends in this year. Tuesday night, Rabbi Gelman's going to join us. Wednesday night, it's a special youth group event for our youth groupers, but we'll still have our 10 minutes of this. And then you have to sign up and register for youth group because there's some supplies that you need. And on Thursday night, we're going to have a Kahoot trivia game that's designed for our school families, but everybody's welcome to join us. So Rabbi Wiesenberg and I have a favorite story called Herschel and the Hanukkah Goblins. And you're going to be able to see it on your screen. And we're going to share this story with you. Hold on 1 second. Okay.
So just move this.
Okay. Put it so we can both be seen.
Yes, we can both be seen. Okay. It was the first night of Hanukkah. Herschel of Ostropol was walking down the road. He was tired and hungry. Nonetheless, his step was light. Soon he would reach the next village where bright candles, merry songs, and platters piled high with tasty potato latkes awaited him. But when he arrived, the village was silent and dark. Not a single Hanukkah candle could be seen.
Isn't tonight the first night of Hanukkah?
Hold on. Sorry. There we go. Isn't tonight the first night?
That's my line.
Okay,
Isn't tonight the first night of Hanukkah?
Herschel asked the villagers.
We don't have Hanukkah, Herschel.
One of them answered sadly.
No Hanukkah? How can that be? It's because of the goblins. They haunt the old synagogue at the top of the hill. They hate Hanukkah. Whenever we try to light a menorah, a Chanukiah, the goblins blow out the candles. They break our dreidels. They throw our potato latkes on the floor. Those wicked goblins make our lives miserable all year long. But on Hanukkah, it's really bad.
Herschel knew he must help the village people. I'm not afraid of goblins, he said. Tell me how to get rid of them.
It's not as easy as you think,
the rabbi warned.
You must spend 8 nights in the old synagogue. The Hanukkah candles must be lit each night. On the 8th night, the king of the goblins must light them himself. That is the only way to break their power.
I'm not afraid, Rabbi, Herschel said. If I can't outwit a few goblins, then my name isn't Herschel of Ostropol. The villagers wished Herschel good luck. They had no potato latkes to give him, so they packed him several hard-boiled eggs for him to eat and a big jar of pickles. The rabbi gave Herschel a brass menorah, a package of candles, and a box of matches. Then the villagers said goodbye. Nobody expected to see Herschel ever again. It was long past sundown by the time Herschel climbed to the top of the hill where the old synagogue stood. The crumbling building was gloomy and dark, and rusty hinges squealed as Herschel opened the door. Herschel shuddered. Well, he could believe that goblins lived here. He put 2 candles in the menorah and set it on the windowsill. He struck a match and lit the shamash candle. He said the blessings and was about to light the other candle when he heard a voice.
Hey, what are you doing?
Herschel turned around. Here was a goblin no bigger than a horsefly with a long pointy tail and 2 little bat's wings hovering in the air. I'm lighting Hanukkah candles, Herschel said. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah.
No, it's not. I don't allow Hanukkah. Not around here.
Oh, is that so? Said Herschel. Who's going to stop me? A little pipsqueak like you,
I may be little, but I'm strong,
said the goblin. Really? Can you crush rocks with your bare hands?
The goblin laughed. Crush rocks? You're joking. Nobody's that strong.
I am. You watch. And Herschel took a hard-boiled egg from his pocket and squeezed it until the yolk and the white ran through his fingers. That's how hard I'm going to squeeze you if you try to stop me from lighting these candles. The little goblin's eyes opened wide. In the dim light, the egg looked just like a rock. The little goblin shook with fear.
You leave me alone,
He squeaked. Gladly, said Herschel, if you let me light my candles in peace.
All right,
Said the goblin.
one night won't make a difference, but you better not be here tomorrow. Big, scary goblins are coming, much bigger than I. If they catch you lighting Hanukkah candles, you'll be sorry.
We'll see about that. Herschel said to himself. He lit the first candle. On the second night, another goblin appeared. This one was big and fat and wild like a goose. Herschel was finishing his dinner of pickles and hard-boiled eggs. Have some pickles, he said to the goblin.
Pickles?
Yep, here, catch. And Herschel tossed him a sour pickle. The goblin caught it in his mouth and swallowed it.
Pickles are good.
Do you like them? I got plenty in this jar. Take all you want. The greedy goblin grabbed as many pickles as his claws could hold. And when he tried to pull his fist out of the jar, he couldn't.
I'm stuck.
The goblin shouted.
You put a spell on this jar to hold me fast.
That's right, Herschel said, laughing. And it's a very powerful spell. You came here tonight to stop me from lighting these Hanukkah candles. So now I'm going to light them while you stand with your hand in a jar and watch. How do you like that?
No.
The goblin screamed.
No. I hate Hanukkah.
Too bad. You'll have to get used to it, Herschel said. And he said the blessings and lit the candles slowly. Then he sang all his favorite Hanukkah songs. The goblin wailed and carried on so much that Herschel finally decided to let him go. Shall I tell you how to break my spell?
Yes, I can't stand it anymore.
Let go of the pickles. Your greed is the only spell holding you prisoner. The goblin let go of the pickles. His hand slipped out of the jar easily. How that goblin raged. He had stood with his hand in the pickle jar while Herschel lit the Hanukkah candles under his nose. The furious goblin stamped his feet so hard that he shattered into a million pieces, and the wind blew them away. The third night came, and Herschel felt something watching him as he set the candles in the menorah. Instead of lighting them, he began playing dreidel. An hour passed, and Herschel looked up. Sitting across the table was another goblin. This one had a fiery red face and 2 enormous horns.
It's getting late.
The goblin said.
When are you gonna light the candles?
Later, there's plenty of time. Herschel spun the dreidel. This is more fun.
What are you playing with?
The goblin asked.
It looks like a top.
It's a dreidel. Don't you know about dreidel?
No.
Too bad, dreidels are lots of fun. You can also make lots of money if you play.
Really?
The goblin was really interested now. All goblins like money. There's no exception.
How do you play?
Oh, it's very simple. But you have to have gold. That's the first rule.
I have plenty of gold. Is this enough?
The goblin poured a pile of gold coins onto the table. That's fine. Listen carefully now. This is the letter Shin. If it comes up, you have to give me a handful of gold. This is the letter Hey. If it comes up, you give me half your gold. This is Gimel, and if the dreidel falls on that letter, you give me all your gold. Do you understand?
Wait, there's one letter left. What about this one?
That's Nun, and if the dreidel falls on Nun, I don't have to give you anything. Are you ready? Let's play. You go first. The goblin spun the dreidel, and the little top whirled around and around. When it fell, the letter was Shin. Too bad, Herschel said, taking a handful of the goblin's gold. Try again. Maybe you'll have better luck. The goblin spun the dreidel once more. This time it fell on Hay. This just isn't your night, Herschel said, helping himself to half of the goblin's gold. One more time, your luck is bound to improve. And once again, the goblin spun. This time, the dreidel landed on Gimel. Too bad, Herschel said as he took the rest of the goblin's gold. Would you like me to spin?
Yes.
The goblin grumbled. He was very unhappy about losing his money. Herschel spun the dreidel, and this time the letter Nun was on top. Oh my, I don't give you anything. I get to keep all the gold. Say, that was fun. Get some more gold, and we'll play again.
What about your Hanukkah candles?
We'll light them later. There's plenty of time.
Not for me.
The goblin said.
I'm leaving. I don't like this game. I don't like Hanukkah, and I don't like you.
Don't go. I know lots of games. Stay a while. We'll have fun.
Goodbye.
The goblin spread his wings, swooped out the door, and flew off into the night. And Herschel lit the candles all by himself. On the following nights, other goblins came. One had 6 heads. One had 3 eyes. All were terrible and fierce. They growled and roared and changed themselves into horrible shapes. They tried to stop Herschel from lighting the Hanukkah candles, but Herschel always fooled them all. Finally, on the 7th night, 8 tiny candles flickered on the windowsill. 8 tiny candles flickered on the windowsill. Herschel sat back to enjoy their light. Where were the goblins? Had they finally given up? Herschel felt sleepy, his eyes closed, and suddenly he sat up. He heard a terrible sound, a voice that sounded like the crunching of bones.
Happy Hanukkah, Herschel of Estrapel.
What? Who's there?
Don't you know who I am? Weren't you expecting the king of the goblins?
The voice rose to a hurricane roar. It ripped shingles off the synagogue's roof and shattered the windows. The Hanukkah candles reeled in the savage blast, but they did not go out. You're too early, Herschel shrieked. You're not supposed to come until tomorrow. The great wind died down.
Don't worry, Herschel. I am far away, but I have the power to see you and speak to you. Enjoy this Hanukkah evening, my friend. It will be your last. Tomorrow night I will come for you. You fooled my slaves, the other goblins. Let's see if you can fool me.
Poor Herschel. What was he to do? The king of the goblins was on his way, and no power on earth could stop him. Unless Herschel had an idea. It was a big chance, but he had to take it. It was the only way to save himself and Hanukkah. It was the last night of Hanukkah, and Herschel set the candles in the menorah. But instead of placing it in a windowsill, he put the menorah and the box of matches on a small table near the door. Then he sat down to wait. Night fell. It grew dark as pitch outside the gloomy synagogue. Outside, the world lay cold and silent. Suddenly, a great gust ripped the synagogue door from its hinges. The whole building shook. A fearsome voice spoke.
Herschel of Astropol.
Do I hear something?
It is I, the king of the goblins.
Don't be silly. You're one of the boys from the village, and you're trying to scare me.
I am not a boy. I am the king of the goblins.
I'll believe it when I see it. Show yourself to me.
Behold, I stand before you. Do you believe me now?
Herschel tried not to look. Even in the darkness, he could see the outline of a monstrous shape filling the doorway, a figure too horrible to describe. He pretended not to care. It's too dark. I can't see anything. A candlestick and some matches are by the doorway. Why don't you light a few candles? Then I'll see who you really are.
Indeed you shall.
A match flared and the shamash candle caught the flame. Herschel's blood turned to water at the awful sight before him. Hold on. The awful sight before him. But he did not lose courage. Thank you. Master of the world, he silently prayed. You who created the heavens and the earth and the spirits of the air, please be with me now. Then he addressed the goblin. It's still too dark. What are you afraid of? There's plenty of candles. Why don't you light them all? A hideous hand took the shamash candle and lit the others one by one. Herschel felt himself grow faint, but he forced himself to look. His eyes grew wider and wider as each candle caught flame. 6, 7, 8. The king of the goblins stood before him.
Now, Herschel, do you know who I am?
I know you're not Queen Esther.
Very funny. Enjoy the joke. It will be your last.
That's what you think. Be gone, or I'll take a stick to you.
How dare you speak that way to the king of the goblins?
I'll speak to you any way I please. You have no power. Your spell is broken. See, the menorah is lit. You thought those were ordinary candles you were lighting, but they weren't. They were Hanukkah candles, and you lit them yourself. The king. The king of the goblins roared with fury. The earth trembled and the mighty wind rose. It ripped off the synagogue roof and blew down the walls. It splintered the great timbers and scattered them like matchsticks.
Around the menorah, the whirlwind howled, but the candles never flickered. They burned with clear, steady flame. The king of the goblins had no power over them. The spirit of Hanukkah had triumphed.
The great wind vanished as suddenly as it had risen. Herschel rubbed his eyes. The night was as still as before, even though the synagogue was gone. Walls, floor, roof, even the foundation stones had vanished, but the menorah remained, standing tall upon the table where Herschel had placed it. Herschel waited until the last candle burned out, and then he started down the road that led to the village. I'd better hurry, he thought. I don't want to miss the last night of Hanukkah. But there was no reason to worry. In every window there stood a menorah with 9 gleaming candles to light the way. The whole village was waiting for him.
The end. And that's Herschel and the Hanukkah Goblins by Eric Kimmel. And the illustrations are by Trina Sharp Hyman. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night, 6:30.
Happy Hanukkah!